Hi guys, welcome back, and if you're new here, I'm Nessie. Today I'm starting on mushroom clumps that will disguise the battery packs for the Firefly garden lights. I'm going to use up my old foam clay to make them, but I'm not so worried about the colour of the clay right now because I'll be painting it later. So don't worry, they're not going to be psychedelic mushrooms. The first thing I'm doing is making some mushroom caps. I'm working on non-stick baking parchment for easy removal of the mushrooms later. Take a small ball of clay and flatten it a bit on the baking paper in a rough circle. Make the mushroom cap thinner around the edges and thicker in the middle. We're making the mushroom cap upside down, by the way. I like to add an indentation in the centre of the cap where the stalk will go. Then I added a lined or striped texture for the gills and lifted the very edges of the cap to stop it looking quite so flat later on. And to be fair, it also made them easier to peel off the parchment when they were drying. Play around with your design, and you don't need any fancy tools to do it. Grab some cheap cutlery or utensils from a thrift store if you don't have any sculpting tools. They work just as well, but just don't use them in the kitchen afterwards. Don't forget, a full list of all the materials used in this video is in the description below. And while you're at it, check out the link to my Nessie Monster merch, where you can buy the cute designs I've created on stickers, t-shirts, mugs, phone cases and more. I've left my mushroom caps to partially dry, and now I'll make some stalks with pipe cleaners and of course more foam clay. I doubled a pipe cleaner over and twisted it all up to make it one stronger piece. Then once I worked out how long I wanted the stalks to be, I cut it up into lengths. I wrapped the foam clay around the pipe cleaner stalk, fully covering all the fuzz. I worked at it, getting as thin as I dared, and removed any excess clay off the ends. This is a good time to add a bend in the wire stalk if you wanted one. When you're happy with the stalk, press the end into the indentation on the mushroom cap and blend the clay into the cap so it sticks really well. Here's my first round of mushrooms, including a little stubby double baby one. Now I'm making a different type of mushroom that you'll find growing on logs, known as a shelf or bracket or polypore, such as turkey tail mushrooms. They're easy enough with no stem. You just form a half oval shape, pinch out the edges and carve in the gill lines on the underside. When you're happy with the shape, you can set them aside to dry, but I found the thicker ones will need to be flipped on their backs after a day or so the middle of them can dry out properly too. I don't know if they remind me of deformed ears or weird lip implants. What do you think? Of course, I couldn't resist making some teeny mushrooms as well. I have no idea where I'm going to put them, but that's tomorrow's problem. So I form small cone-like shapes for the caps and set them aside to dry a little. And don't forget an indentation for the stalk underneath. The stalk pieces are a single pipe cleaner which has had all the fuzz clipped off with scissors and cut into short lengths. I wrap the stalks in foam clay just like I did with the bigger ones. I'm adding wire in the stalks because in my head it makes sense to give added stability for my mushrooms. I don't get the stalks as fine as I would have liked, but they still turn out cute, so I don't mind. Sometimes you just gotta go with the flow and see what happens. As you can see, I'm forming the mushroom upright and spreading the clay out around the bottom of the stalk just to give me more surface area when it comes to gluing them in place later. I gently added the cap to the stalk and left them to dry. And here's the same process from another angle. Check me out being all fancy with other angles and stuff. I have sped this footage up a little because apparently I was going at a snail's pace in real life. I told you I wasn't worried about what colour clay I was using, and this is why. I'm giving them all a thin base coat of gesso, which does a great job of covering up the colour underneath and preparing the surface for painting. The first mushrooms I made are getting vibrant pinks and oranges blended on the top of the caps in random patches, although on camera it looks more like just different shades of orange. The turkey tail tops are painted a base colour of light brown. The underside of the turkey tails are a beigey colour. I don't know what they really look like. Maybe I'm inventing all new species of mushrooms here. But I'll finish painting everything, ready to add them to the gnome home. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new uploads, and leave a comment because I'd love to hear from you. It really helps my channel to grow. If you want to share your own crafty ideas and projects, join my Facebook page called Nessie Monster Crafts. And we have Fun Day Fridays where we can all show off our latest works in progress. If you can afford it, please consider buying me a coffee. Links for both my Facebook group and coffee account are in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!